black. With flowers and my love hope never to come back. I see people turn their heads and quickly look away. Like a newborn baby, it just happens every day. I look inside myself and see my heart is black. I see my red door, I must have it painted black. Maybe then I'll fade away and not have to face the facts. It's not easy facing up when your whole world is black. No more will my green seagull turn a deeper blue. I could not foresee this thing happening to you.
Good afternoon, friends and allies and warriors for truth. I thought it was very important to start the presentation by setting the scene. One would think that this would be a display of Pride Week, but it's not. It's a normal occurrence in Iceland, everyday life. We hardly see our national flag anymore. We see the progress flag everywhere. My name is Eldur Smári Kristinsson, and I'm a 45-year-old gay man. I'm a freelance writer, and I'm not the chairman of the organization I founded a few years ago, but the international liaison officer for the LGBT Alliance in Iceland. That's the only organization in Iceland at the moment exclusively for same-sex attracted people. I stand before you not as a figurehead, but as a fighter, a man staring down the barrel of state power, calling out its lies, and speaking truth to a system that would rather I remain silent. In a nation of fire and ice, I'm bringing fire to the fight, and I won't let the icy grip of ideology freeze out free speech. Iceland, a nation of only 400,000 people, is often seen as a beacon of equality, a country with women in nearly every top position: president, bishop, prime minister, state prosecutor, chief of police, the head of a university. But beneath the postcard image, a shadow has spread, and that's gender ideology. It's crept into laws, into our schools and hospitals, and it's rewriting reality itself. 10 years ago, I began to sense something was wrong within the gay rights movement. The focus shifted to children, the so-called transgender child. And activists began shaming homosexuals like myself for refusing members of the opposite sex into our dating pool. My own coming out journey as a gay man of faith was long and complex. But when I saw my sexual orientation reduced to a genital fetish, for example by a caricature drawn by Canadian trans activist Sophie Labelle, that was my breaking point, or where I peaked. When I raised these issues in Iceland, I was silenced and banned from gay forums. By 2017, I was ostracized from every group I had once belonged to. But I could not stop. I researched, and it became clear that this was not only a passing trend, but a crisis with devastating consequences. In 2019, I joined forces with Eva, a young blind lesbian, and together we founded Iceland's first gender-critical group. Soon after, self-ID legislation was rushed through Parliament without debate. The smear campaign against us began immediately, branding us ignorant and hateful. Then came COVID, and redundant from work, I had more time to research and connect with allies. Still, there was no space for debate. By 2023, when our organization tried to hold its first conference, we were chased out from one venue to another until a former prime minister had to step in and offered us space in their party headquarters. We wrote countless opinion pieces, but the mainstream media refused to publish them. Parents reached out to us, desperate to expose what their children were being taught. Queer theory, the idea of being born in the wrong body, and even BDSM as a sexual orientation. In September 2023, we caught Reykjavik City Council and the National Queer Organization of Iceland promoting exactly this in schools. This made headline news, but we were the ones vilified. Have a look.
Reykjavíkurborg hefur varað skóla borgarinnar við hópi sem mætti nýverið í grunnskóla, tók myndbönd af starfsfólki og mótmælti efni veggspjalda sem hanga upp í skólanum. Sviðsstjóri hjá skóla- og frístundasviði segir slíkar uppákomur ekki boðlegar. Bjarki Sigurðsson.
Á fimmtudaginn í síðustu viku mættu nokkrir meðlimir hóps sem kallar sig samtökin 22 í Langholtsskóla í Reykjavík og heimtuðu svör hvers vegna veggspjöld sem fjölluðu kynlíf og kynhneigð væru hengd á veggi skólans. Þeim var vikið úr húsnæðinu af starfsmönnum þar. Einn meðlimur samtakana birti myndband af heimsókninni á Facebook. Samtökin voru ekki sátt með að vera vikið í burtu og sögðu ítrekkað að grunnskólinn væri opinber staður og því væru þau í fullum rétti til að vera á svæðinu.
Erum við ekki skattgreiðendur að borga fyrir þetta? Það kemur enginn inn í skólan nema með samþykki.
Í kjölfar þessarar uppákomu var sendur út póstur á alla skóla, félags- og frístundamiðstöðvar þar sem varað var við hópnum. Sviðsstjóri skóla- og frístundasviðs Reykjavíkurborgar segir hópinn ekki geta mætt án leyfis í hvaða skóla sem er.
Skóli einfaldlega vettvangur náms og kennslu og þangað eiga erindi einhverju kennara, starfsfólk skóla og nemendur og svo foreldrar sem eru í samskipti við skólan og náttúrulega skipta miklu máli að við höfum skólan okkar opnað þannig að foreldrar séu velkomnir en þetta á ekki gerast.
Hann segir uppákomur sem þessa geta orðið til þess að starfsfólk skóla eigi erfitt með að fræða og kenna börnum.
Við erum einfaldlega að fylgja því sem segir í lögum grunnskóla, aðalnámskrá, alþjóðlegum samþykktum sem hefur undirgengist og það skiptir miklu máli að starfsfólk okkar sé öruggt í því umhverfi og fylgi þeim viðmiðum sem að menntamálaráðuneyti og sveitarfélög er að boða og það má ekkert vera til þess að sá óöryggi þeirra huga vegna þess að kynfræðsla og fræðsla hinsegin, kynin og allt jafnrétti sem við viljum starfa eftir í íslensku samfélagi, að þeir séu öruggir í þeirri fræðslu og kennslu.
Needless to say, we were not there without permission. They were actually very proud showing us these posters, but when they realized who we were, that's where things changed. But the next morning, speaking at the Genspect conference in Lisbon last year opened a new door for me. I caught the attention of politicians, which led me to run for parliament in the last parliamentary elections in November. By joining a new party, I secured a top candidate position in the Northwest constituency of Iceland. As a politician in an election campaign, the media could no longer ignore me. But 3 days before polling day on the 30th of November last year, the state broadcaster RÚV ambushed my party leader with fabricated accusations against me in a drive-by shooting-esque attack live on air. They claimed, because of this incident here, that I had been removed by police from school grounds for photographing children and that I have made obscene remarks about a trans candidate who was also running in the same parliamentary election. All lies designed to destroy my candidacy.
Komið sæl og verið velkomin í forystusætið. Gestur okkar í kvöld Arnar Þór Jónsson, formaður lýðræðisflokksins. Arnar Þór hæstaréttarlögmaður og var héraðsdómari þar til hann söðlaði og fór í stjórnmál. Hann var varaþingmaður Sjálfstæðisflokksins á kjörtímabilinu sem að líða, en sagði sig úr flokknum í ársbyrjun þegar hann tilkynnti framboð til forseta Íslands. Arnar Þór fékk rúmlega 5% atkvæða í forsetakosningum í sumar en tilkynnti stofnun lýðræðisflokksins í september. Vertu velkomin Arnar Þór.
Takk hérna.
Hvers vegna stofnaðirðu lýðræðisflokkinn?
Í stuttu máli vegna þess að ég tel að íslensk stjórnmál séu bara komin út á sporinu. Ég tel að þau séu farin að þjóna erlendum stofnunum, þau farin að þjóna alls konar kerfum hér innlendis og erlendis og farin að ganga sem sagt verka sem að þjóna ekki almenningi. Ég tel að stjórnmálamenn á Íslandi eigi að þjóna fyrst og fremst fólkinu í landinu. Og það
þjóna og þá sem þið veljið til þjónustu, oddviti flokksins í Norðvesturkjördæmi, Eldur Smári Kristinsson, hann formaður samtakana 22, samtaka sem hafa verið sökuð að ala á andúð í garð transfólks, hann hefur verið fjarlægður af lögreglu grunnskóla fyrir að mæta þar í leyfisleysi og mynda starfsfólk og börn, hann hefur sakað þau sem berjast fyrir réttindum transfólks barnaníð, þar á meðal nafngreinda íslenska baráttukonu, hann hefur líka þrástagast á að hún sé karl og farið mjög klúrum og ruddalegum orðum kynfæri hennar á opinberum vettvangi. Endurspeglar þetta gildi lýðræðisflokksins í þessum málaflokki?
Ég tek fram, ég þekki ekki þessi ummæli sem þú ert að vitna til. En má heyra aftur, endurspeglar þetta?
Gildi lýðræðisflokksins í þessum málaflokki?
Nei, sko, ég vil segja þetta. Eldur Smári hefur í raun og veru verið málsvari þess að fullorðið fólk verji börn og verji þau frá því að taka afdrifaríkar ákvarðanir sem kunna að skaða þau til frambúðar. Það grundvallar viðmið í siðmenntuðu samfélagi að foreldrar og fullorðið fólk hafi vit fyrir börnum meðan það þarf að hafa vit fyrir þeim. Hér erum við að tala um það að Eldur hefur verið á móti því að ungir einstaklingar séu settir á kynhormóna bælandi lyf.
Já, hormónablokkara sem afturkræf aðgerð að mati kirtlalækna.
Ok, fínt, það bara allt í lagi, en þetta hefur samt þessi lyf, það hefur verið umræðið það í Bretlandi, þetta hefur valdið því að marg börn hafa oft á tíðum orðið fyrir samt sem áður skaða, það er að segja að líffæri hafa ekki þroskast, þau hafa ekki getað hreyft sig jafnvel eða hafa verið rúmliggjandi út af þessu. Síðan það sko varðandi skurðaðgerðirnar sem að við þurfum bara í taka alvarlega siðferðilega umræðu
Það ekki gera skurðaðgerðir börnum hérna?
Nei, gott, en þetta umræða sem að við þurfum að geta rætt og tekið fram í dagsljósi.
En þú velur mann til forystu sem hefur haft mjög hatramma umræðu til...
Ég myndi ekki segja, hann hefur haft frammi kannski hvassa umræðu, en Eldur einfallega í mínum huga maður sem hefur þorað að andmæla þeirri trúarbylgju sem riðið hefur yfir hinn vestræna heim vegna þess að hann þeirra skoðunar að það séu bara til 2 kyn og ég reyndar þeirra skoðunar líka og ég tel að kallar geti ekki breytt sér í konur bara með því að setja á sig varalinn.
Já, myndirðu breyta lögum kynrænt sjálfræði ef þú kemist í stöðu til þess?
Ég legg ekki aðal áherslu á það. Ég tel að hver og einn maður, og takk fyrir þessa spurningu, það gott að þetta fá að koma af stað. Hver og einn fullorðinn maður, og þá ég að sjálfsögðu við konur líka, mega eiga sitt frelsi og taka sínar ákvarðanir og ég held að hvorki ég tala fyrir sjálfa mig þegar ég segi, og ég vissum að ég tala fyrir Eld líka, að hvorugur okkar gerir neinar athugasemdir við það að fullorðið fólk taki ákvarðanir eins og við erum að tala um hér með sem sagt kynhormóna bælingarlyf og jafnvel að taka önnur lyf eða skurðaðgerðir. Það bara sjálfsagt og bara öllum frjálst í frjálsu samfélagi, en línan dregin hér við börn.
Obviously, after those comments from the state broadcaster, the very next morning, me and the campaign manager, we turned up to the chief of police of Iceland to demand a written confirmation from the police that I had never been arrested or removed from anywhere. At first, they told us that it would take 30 days to process our request. When I reminded them that there was only 72 hours until the polling station would open, this would be in the realm of election interference. Only then they did agree to provide the documentation within 24 hours. But instead of clearing my name in those 24 hours, the police in my hometown called me because the National Queer Organization of Iceland had filed complaints over 6 old social media posts. Suddenly, I was hauled in for questioning less than a day before the election. And the charges? 3 complaints under the article of 233A, which is Iceland's so-called hate speech law, each carrying up to 2 years in prison. My crimes? Questioning whether biologically male trans women can safely breastfeed infants, and criticizing Ireland's Eurovision Song Contest entry because I said it was promoting a devious sexualized ideology, and rejecting laws in Parliament declaring that men can give birth. These are opinions, but not any incitement, yet enough to brand me a criminal. I don't need to tell you, I didn't get elected. But this fight only sharpened my resolve. So after Christmas, with my husband and my family, I launched a crowdfund and filed a lawsuit against the state broadcaster. And the court date is set for October 8th, which is only days from now. I am confident that I will clear my name, but nearly a year later, the defamatory broadcast that we saw remains online unchanged. Yet, my case has caught international attention. Independent media outlets, GB News, and podcasters around the world have platformed me. My GoFundMe, Legal Fund for Eldur, has raised $20,000 from 500 different supporters, though we still need more to reach the goal. Speaking out in Iceland makes you a pariah. Friends disappear, fearing guilt by association. Online, I face death threats and slander. The National Queer Organization uses Darwin tactics to, deny, attack, reverse victim and offender to paint me as a villain for defending gay rights and children's safety. Yet hope burns bright. Earlier this month, a young MP, Snorri Másson, echoed my concern live on television, but he had to be guarded by armed SWAT team for days after doing so. 2 weeks ago, my opinion piece in Vísir, which is the biggest online mainstream publication in Iceland, where I challenged the health minister claim that children are born in the wrong body, topped the most read list for days. And today, standing here in Albuquerque, sharing Iceland's story with you, even with US legislators, proves that the truth is breaking through. And how do I keep going? Persistence. Every email, every appeal, every social media post chips away at the silence. Every single voice in here and everyone watching online, and allies such as LGBT Alliance, the Danish Rainbow Council, brave folks like Stella and Mia and Graham Linehan, Andrew Doyle, and so many others who I had the pleasure of meeting personally, and many more. My name, Eldur, funny enough, it means fire. And I say it's the blaze of defiance. And Smári, my middle name, is shamrock or a clover, a reminder of the luck of finding everyone here. And I carry the courage of late Magdalene Burns, who said, "I'd rather be rude than a fucking liar." This is your fight too. This is all of our fights. If you are a lesbian facing erasure, a parent worried about schools, or simply someone who values the truth, join the conversation and demand a reform, end the misuse of hate speech laws, halt child transitions, restore open debate, and Iceland, we've had enough. Enough of lies, enough of prosecutions, enough of persecutions, and ostracization and media capture. I declare war on gender Gilead. Let us tear down power, call out its lies, and speak truth together until we win. Thank you. Thank you very much. I don't know if there's any questions or one? Anyone?
Thank you very much. So foreign influence was mentioned a couple of times, and I just wonder, where is it coming from?
The United States of America.
What about UNESCO?
Well,
and what about the WHO?
Well, obviously, both of these are under heavily U.S. influence. I'm not going to lie, the European Union is doing its job too in funding all of this. So I would say it comes from both sides, the European Union and the United States through the academia. One more question, maybe?
Thank you. Has there been any polling done in Iceland to determine whether there's real opposition to this ideology?
We all agree that this is nonsense, but the thing is, the debate has been stifled. It hasn't really been allowed to take place. I'm in a situation, and have been for years, where I am systematically deplatformed or am not given a platform. Hence, I ran for Parliament last year, because in the whole objective with that candidacy was actually just to get the platform, to get the topic on the agenda. But then we had a snap election. The election campaign was only 7 weeks, and the media completely took control of which topics we as candidates could debate. Thank you.